Hey everybody, Andy from Tennis Euphoria, bringing you my review of the Tecnifibre T-Rebound IGA 298. It's always great to hit with signature rackets that the pros are actually using rather than endorsing. IGA's racket is 98 square inches, swing weight of 319, 71 stiffness, and it's got a 16 by 19 string pattern. Her game, of course, is pretty versatile. She's a great mover, likes to move people around as well. But also, IGA's game has nice variety, I always think. She has quite an extreme grip on her forehand, quite a solid backhand, but will occasionally come up with really nice touch and drop shots. And I think overall her game is of course very impressive, but also versatile, so one would think that the racket would be something that would complement this. Now, generally speaking, it's not a good idea to just play with what professional players are using, because us as amateurs and club players and even at the advanced end of that just will not have the ability or the strength necessarily to handle what they're handling. But in this case, IGA is of course 5'9". She's an impressive athlete, and the 319 swing weight, and mine was on spec, is arguably something that I should be able to play quite well with, and I would say is actually something that a lot of people should be able to play with, both male and female. Let's face it, if you think that you're stronger and faster than IGA, then you're definitely an awesome player, I would expect. And I would hasten to suggest that actually many people aren't as strong, fast, or as good as IGA. So I think this is a racket that advanced players can look at, as well as intermediate players, and male and female players should have a look at it. So I must admit, I was a bit skeptical about the racket. That's why it's taken a while to review it. A 71 stiffness isn't something that I'd usually enjoy. 298 grams, that's really light. As you saw, mine was 334 strung up. I strung it up with Tecnifibre Razor Code, which is a much better string than Ice Code, I think, and it's a string I'm very familiar with. But my perception was that I would have a really brittle, kind of stiff racket with no feel. Probably would be a sort of ruthless powerhouse. And I was quite surprised really that it wasn't 100 square inches. Obviously her previous Prince racket was 100 square inches, and generally speaking this sort of type of racket you'd maybe expect to be there, and I was concerned a little bit about stability and twist weight with a 98 square inch head. So I was pleasantly surprised actually by the IGA. The first thing I would say is that it does lend itself well to versatile play. So it is stiff ultimately, but it sort of doesn't feel too stiff, and I think that's probably something to do with the Dynacore and the foam filling. So actually it does sort of feel almost kind of brittle and crisp, but it doesn't feel harsh on your arm. Now that does lead to a good bit of power, but I actually think that the power from this comes from its maneuverability, and that's the standout feature of the IGA. This is an exceptionally whippy frame, and I think that that works really well for IGA's forehand. Is possibly a little bit lost on mine because I've got an older fashioned grip, but I think one-handed backhand players should have a look at the IGA. It's so fast through the air. The sweet spot is sort of pretty good for a 98, and it's good to hit a one-hander. Mine's terrible, of course, but you can hit a nice ball. It's so fast through the air, as I say, that it's something you can consider. I actually really enjoyed just drilling and training with this racket because it was so fast through the air. I was just surprised that I wasn't feeling anything in my arms. I quite enjoyed just taking it up to training sessions and hitting lots of balls with it. In terms of the other pleasant surprise was feel. So I did actually feel quite connected to the ball. I did feel that I could play with versatility. I could hit my touch shots, I could hit good drop shots, just like IGA does. And I was very pleased with the spin that I could generate on serve, although I would say that, and the feedback I was getting actually when I was playing against people was that my serve didn't feel as heavy as it does with other rackets, and I thought that was the case. I probably wasn't getting as much pace on serve as I do with heavier frames. On slice, I thought the racket was actually really good. You can see a rally here of just slicing, and it cuts through the air so quickly, and for its weight has ample stability that I think you can hit a nice slice. So again, you've got that sort of versatile, maneuverable, really whippy frame. So they're the positives. The slight negative for me was that I actually think this would be better, heavier. For me, I am not a big guy, but I'm pretty fit and I do train a lot. So I think there's a lot to be said for picking a racket and a weight that is in line with your style of play. And I do like something that can aid versatility, but also picking a racket in terms of weight and swing weight aligned to your physical ability. And I think that actually, in terms of optimal power creation and optimal plow through, this is just a little bit light for me, and I can generate heavier balls and more plow through with a heavier weight. And I think that will be the case for a lot of advanced players, particularly advanced guys. For intermediate players, I think this is a really good option. I think for people considering all-out power frames, and perhaps people who have developing games, I'm thinking you know, junior, teenage athletes who, both male and female, who are looking for a little bit more control, you know, have a solid game but still want some power. This is a great option. I also actually think that people who enjoy versatile, quite crisp and powerful sticks, like pro staff users, should check out the IGA, and they don't need to be worried about the stiffness rating, which is, I think, will put a lot of people off. So ultimately, I think this is a really good frame. It's got some nice features like the armor cap, so you feel that you can throw it around, not worry about damaging it. It's got the nice grommets, which is underrated actually. That protects your grommets, and it also ensures that stringers are knotting on the strings. You're getting optimal tension. I think that's a really nice feature on a lot of Tecnifibre rackets. So this is definitely something that people should demo. I am tempted to put a bit more weight on it and see how it performs. It's not switchable for me. Ultimately, it just is so fast, it's a little bit too fast. I'm looking for a little bit more mass, and there's other rackets that I can play more effectively with, and that was the feedback I was getting when I was having just friendly sets and match play with people. They felt I was a better player with other rackets. So you've got to listen to that feedback, I think. But overall, real pleasant surprise with this stick. It's got a wide potential base of individual who should use it or look at it, at least, I think, and I think it is a fantastic addition to Tecnifibre's lines. It isn't just a copy of the 300 RS. It's different to that. I mean, it has similar features, but this is more stable and has more plow. Hope that was of interest. Please subscribe if it was, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. The Ultra V4 is next on the list. That's doing well. I have actually been working with someone who's moving away from Imperial Drive. That is looking like the frame that he will move to. There is another frame that has been a real surprise to us all that is doing very well. I'll mention that in the next video and do a review on that one soon too. So subscribe if you want to know what that one is. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.